Emily from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, April 12th. So today we have the moon moving out of the fiery, playful, very expressive, semi-dramatic energy of Leo, and we will be moving into Virgo energy. So here's the thing. Anytime we move out of a fire sign and we move into an earth sign, it feels like the world is heavier than it is. This earth energy grounds us out. It brings us back down to earth. It puts us in the moment. We have to look at our physical circumstances, our physical bodies. We really do have to connect with the five senses, with our egoic, materialistic realm. The Virgo energy, however, is about organization, restructuring. And because Virgo is ruled over by Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, there is a lot of information, a lot of details that we have had a hard time processing, especially with Mercury having been in Aries energy. Now that Mercury is in Taurus, another sister earth sign to Virgo, we are a lot more practical, a lot more logical. We have the blinders on. We can complete a thought. We can come up with a plan. We can communicate a little bit more deliberately and I'm going to say with a little bit more tact than we had with Mercury in Aries. So with the moon in Virgo, this is going to really be a time where we're going to feel a lot of pressure in our heart space, in our head space to try and get on the same page. Like I said, there's been a lot of moving parts. There's been a lot of events, a lot of circumstances, a lot of information and details coming at us that we haven't been able to do anything with. The Virgo energy is going to get over analytical, overly judgmental, highly critical, especially of oneself, but of the ever-changing circumstances moving around in our physical world. This is going to be a time where we come to a totally different understanding about ourselves, about our relationships, about our emotions, what it is we want, need, and desire, and a deeper perspective on some of the situations that have transpired, some of the details that have been revealed. Today, we have 10 different aspects taking place. 6 of them involve the moon. So one of the big events that we got going on here today is the conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune. If you haven't listened to this week's Ascension forecast, please go ahead and do so. I kind of spoke a little bit briefly about what Jupiter and Neptune's all about. I didn't do its own individual astro forecast. I really didn't feel the need to, although it is a major astrology event for the year and for the collective. It is a once in a lifetime event. I feel like it can be pretty simply kind of concisely explained in this particular forecast. So we will cover that aspect when we get to it. So the moon is in Leo up until about 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then it's going to go void, of course, locking into Virgo energy around 10 a.m. Again, Eastern Standard Time. So we do have about 4-ish hours where things are going to be a little bit choppy, a little bit confusing, a little bit blurry, and where we're making that transition from that heart space that the moon in Leo has us centered on to the head space where we are connected to our earthly realm, where we can start processing some of the details that our heart space, our imaginary land, may have missed. So right out of the gate, we actually have a little bit of a tension point with both Mars and Chiron. Mars, of course, is about action. He is the god of war. He's very aggressive. He knows what he wants. He knows what he needs. He knows what he desires. He has been a little bit stunted in the kind of actions that he wished he could take because, of course, he's in Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy is the battlefield of the mind, of the intellect. We really had to get some zaps, some downloads of ideas and inspirations from the higher intelligent cosmos in order for us to see the greater, grander vision at play. That Aquarian energy, very futuristic, very visionary in its nature. And of course, we were only making moves if we were being activated to make those moves, inspired to make those moves, if it aligned with the futuristic dream and vision that we're now being inspired to pursue. But Chiron, the wounded healer, is kind of making an appearance here because Mars is on his final days of Aquarian energy before jumping into Piscean energy here on Thursday. And so there is a little bit of a recap that we have to go through. And Mars bumping into Chiron in this way is applying enough pressure, enough uncomfortability, if you will, in our head space, in our heart space, to acknowledge some of the wounds that we have been running from. So a lot of circumstances have changed. A lot of our egoic identity issues have changed because of it. And we're really trying to sort out who it is that we are now without these particular attachments. Mars bumping into Chiron in this way, creating this little bit of uncomfortability, is going to push us, put our backs against the wall, put our backs in the corner in order for us to stop running from some of the wounds that we've been trying to bury our head in the sand about. The moon is going to bump into Chiron as well. And of course, the moon's still in Leo, very connected to the heart space. Leo is the heart and soul of the zodiac. We have a want, need, and desire to get in touch with the heart chakra and actually become very raw and very vulnerable and very authentic with our truth, with what it is that we need to speak. And right now, this is about the inner dialogue that we need to have within ourselves about some of the hurt and the pain that we've been trying to distract ourselves from. The moon goes ahead and sits across from, opposes Mars. So it's almost like Mars runs into Chiron. He has the want, need, and desire to push forward, to want to heal these wounds, even though it's uncomfortable. He would rather kind of grow through what he's going through, get an intellectual perspective down. Then the moon bumps into Chiron. We're feeling all kinds of things. We're a little bit overwhelmed in our heart space about it. And then the moon sitting across from Mars provides us with this energy, this conflict, this inner tug of war on where it is that we're going to boss up and actually take action in our physical realms to do something with the emotions that are now become so overwhelming within us that we have a brand new will, a brand new passion, a brand new desire to not only express ourselves with our new truth, but to do what is necessary to kind of wrap up this particular life lesson and come to peace with it. A little bit of closure, if you will. The moon at this particular point in time goes void. So now we're feeling we're kind of feeling shaky and uncertain. There's a lot of insecurities, a lot of doubts. We're definitely moving from that heart space into that head space. The moon does make an aspect with Pluto while void. And Pluto is the great transformer. And let me tell you, the great transformer is providing us a learning opportunity right now to boss up or to stay the same. Every single situation that we're being faced with, every single trigger, every single activation point is giving us an opportunity to either stay where we're at, stay in a state of paralysis, stay in a state of pain, or to boss up and use that pain as a catalyst, as an inspiration to actually transform ourselves, mind, body, and soul, in order to be in the right kind of position to actually make a change in our physical realm, to heal the wound, to actively work through the pain, and of course, to turn that pain into a source of power. By the time the moon actually locks into Virgo energy, this is when we have our Jupiter and Neptune conjunction. So recap. Jupiter takes 12 years to go through all the signs of the zodiac, meaning that Jupiter bumps into each and every single planet, regardless of where they're at in the cosmos, once every 12 years. Anytime Jupiter kind of bumps into a planet, it's a big deal. It opens up a brand new cycle. It opens up a brand new soul contract, a brand new life lesson. Here's the thing though, Jupiter and Neptune, this is the first time, not only in 12 years that they've gotten together in the cosmos, in the sky, but the last time that they were actually in Piscean waters for their meetup was like 165 years ago. That's a big deal. This is a once in a lifetime event. And you may be saying, if you've been following me for any amount of time, like, wow, we've been having a lot of once in a lifetime events. If you go back to 2020, when this whole pandemic thing unfolded, that was a huge conjunction with a lot of the major heavy hitting planets that haven't happened in like years and years and years. May I remind you, this is the time and the place to be on this earth, as uncomfortable as it is. We came here, if you're alive here listening to me, you came here to experience these once in a lifetime events, because this is the Great Awakening. This is us shifting into the age of Aquarius. This is a big deal. And those that are here to witness the changes within the collective and within yourself, this is unprecedented history that will go down in our cosmic history, our galactic history, and be talked about for eons to come. So we have Jupiter, who is about growth and expansion and blessings and rewards. We have Neptune, that is about dreams, soul self, spirituality. They're both in Pisces. Pisces is water. It is emotional, it is intuitive, it is karmic in nature. Water has the ability to transform. This is a time where, especially on the Greater Grand Collective, we are going to see a trigger and an activation point where we are literally creating more of a spiritual realm here on Earth than the physical realm is in existence. In the Ascension forecast for this week, I talked about how the other dimensional realms are more real to us than this fake facade breaking down of the matrix. Jupiter and Neptune coming together in this way in Piscean energy is literally triggering and activating an emotional and spiritual tsunami that will flood this earth with a higher realm form of intelligence where spirituality, karma, intuition reigns supreme. Now also, keyword tsunami. This is a water event. Pay attention to the water weather events taking place all around the world. These particular astrological situations do have a reverberatory effect on our weather systems. Now, you might be saying, well, tsunami doesn't sound so good. Might not be a tsunami, but we are going to see a lot of change in the waters. Keyword, watch the water. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But the water on Earth, the levels, the area, the fluctuation in intensity is a thing. This is a spiritual contract that this particular collective is fulfilling. And in our own individual lives, we really do get to see a different set of values, beliefs, dreams, inspirations, and a new level of spirituality actually unfold. This is a time of high manifestation where we're literally able to bring our dreams into reality. This is a time where we are leveling up to new frequencies and vibrations, to a new spiritual level that none of us have ever reached before. This is a very interesting time to be alive. And the more the 3D construct breaks down and disintegrates, the more we have to rely on the high vibrational dimensions of New Earth. And this is going to be a true trigger, a true activation point where we will be seeing a shift in the collective, a shift in humanity, a shift in the vibrational frequencies of this earth. Individually, this is a great time to tap into your creativity, to tap into your spiritual practice, to be renewed in your faith, in your hope, in your dreams, in your desires. This is going to be a very, very interesting time to see how this unfolds. The other thing about it is, of course, there's a downside to this, and the negative frequencies, the negative vibrations illuminate for us where it is that we're so overwhelmed, where it is that we're disconnected from our spiritual self, where it is that we don't believe that our dreams are even possible because of the fear mongering happening in this matrix, that we want to escape. That Neptune energy, that Piscean energy is the escape artist of the zodiac. This is where we're supposed to bring things full circle, not run away from the roles and responsibility of our karmic contracts to do so. So there is going to be a little bit of a bump, if you will, a little bit of a shock wave, if you will, in order to see the unconscious part of us, because Pisces energy is the unconscious collective, the unconscious part of us now come into awareness. And normally typically speaking, the unconscious only becomes conscious when there is a trigger and an activation that kind of reverberates through our soul contracts, our soul self, to bring some of these not so nice parts of us, whether it's from this incarnation or in past, to the surface. So there is going to be this, gong show, if you will, this bang that sends out this frequency in order for us to illuminate the parts of us that haven't been acknowledged and integrated. In order for us to do so, we have the spiritual wisdom, the encouragement, the backing of the cosmos right now in order to do it. The collective, the greater, grander collective, is going through essentially the dark night of the soul. What is the dark night of the soul? It's the stripping of the ego. It's the stripping of the falsities in which man has created. And does that feel good? No. Do we have to do it? Yes. Why? Because we have to shine a bright light on the darkest parts of what man and humankind have created on this earth. The only way we can shift into new earth is if we fully illuminate all the toxic, negative, bad, shady shit that man has been a part of in creating this quote unquote hell on earth. We have to acknowledge quote unquote hell on earth before we can have heaven on earth, which is essentially the new earth that we are all trying to create. So today is going to be a big emotional feels kind of day. Now, reminder, when we talk about these aspects, it's not like, oh, this is only happening today and we're not going to feel it again. No, especially these major heavy hitting planets, they're very slow moving. They stay within orb 5 degrees of one another for quite some time because that's how long it's going to take for Jupiter to get out of the area of aspecting Neptune. So we are going to have these influences be with us for the next little chunk of time. But this, when an aspect perfects, and that's what's happening here today, they're coming together. This conjunction is a perfect aspect. They're teaming up, sitting next to each other in the cosmos. This is the original activator, the original trigger, if you will, that will set the tone for the events connected to the topics and themes of these planets, to activate them and trigger them to actually start manifesting here on Earth and here in our individual lives. So the sun is going to bump into the true node shortly after this beautiful, great conjunction between these two planets. The sun, of course, is in Aries season. We're wrapping up the last week of Aries, so the pressure is on, moving into those final critical degrees. The true node, of course, is our soul's path, our destiny's path. The sun bumping into the true node in this way is going to create an activation and a trigger in our external realms that puts us in a position to recognize where it is that we have to muster up a brand new will and determination to cut the cord with the past and do whatever is necessary to step up to the plate and absolutely take control over the roles and responsibilities that we're currently being offered. Now, I've been talking about this for what seems to be forever, but definitely the last couple of weeks because Saturn's been very active. We are moving into new soul contracts, new karmic chapters. Many of us are being kind of positioned, if you will, to step into roles and responsibilities that we really don't want, but we know within ourselves it's up to us. It's a part of our soul's mission, our soul's purpose, in order to muster up the bravery and the courage to do better, to move away from the construct of the egoic identity that we've built, that has been cracking, that has been pushing us outside of our comfort zone in order to build a new life, a new reality for ourselves that many of us are just hesitant to do. This particular aspect is showing us, if you want that dream, if you want that vision, if you actually want to be manifesting that particular reality so that you can be living that life here on the physical realm, you have got to be a different version of yourself. The sun in Aries is a good energy for us to recognize where it is that we have to take the leadership role, where it is that we have to be bold and brave and courageous enough to light a new spark, a new fire within us that will push us into the uncomfortable zone of adjustment and change that many of us try to run from. And in doing so, we're actually taking a huge leap forward in aligning with the path that we need to be in order to bring this vision and dream into our physical realities. The moon, now in Virgo, is going to blend its energies with Mercury. Mercury rules over Virgo energy. The moon is our heart space, our emotions, our unconscious self. Mercury rules over the lower level intellect, where logical, practical data and statistics come into the realm in order for us to make a decision. The moon trining Mercury in this way is an aha moment, is a perspective and understanding of analyzing the data, the statistics, the situation, the circumstances from a different set of eyes, and us coming to a different realization and understanding of why it happened, why it needed to happen, what we're supposed to do with it, and the plans, the strategy that we need to make from this moment in order to continue to push this particular energy forward. Mercury is in Taurus, meaning that we are looking to create elements and ideas. We're looking to birth them. We're looking to bring them to life. Mercury in Taurus is all about being grounded and practical, but realizing the ideas and the inspirations that we've been downloaded with and how to tactfully and practically bring them into existence. The moon bumps into Pluto, the great transformer. And let me tell you, the moon in Virgo, being so overly analytical, highly critical, highly judgmental, we are picking apart things that we didn't even know were in existence within ourselves. Plutonian energy wants us to boss up, wants us to do a major transformation in our psyche, in our heart space, so that we understand where the darker force energies, the pain, the suffering, the trauma that we've gone through have actually been divinely scripted by our higher selves to push us into our most raw and authentic power. The sun sextiles Saturn. This is a beautiful energy for us to boss the hell up. Okay. The hesitancy that we've been having about accepting the new roles and responsibilities, the want, need, and desire to build brand new routines and systems and foundations in our lives in order to build the bridge that is going to get us from where it is that we're currently at to where it is that we want to be. Suddenly now we've had this aha moment. We've had this shift within us. And now we're feeling bold and brave enough to actually step up to the plate, whether we are hesitant, whether we were hesitant in doing that or not, doesn't matter. We are now putting our cosmic big girl panties on and we are stepping up to the plate. We are stepping up to the new roles and responsibilities. And this is essentially when we initiate, because we're in alignment, because we know we're accepting these roles and responsibilities, we are now initiating the brand new soul contracts that have been offered to us. Karmically speaking, this is a level up. We're going to wrap up the day with the moon bumping into Chiron and taking place at 11:11, may I mind you. The moon in Virgo is constantly trying to pick the details apart and get to the fundamental root of why it is that we think the way we do, why it is we feel the way we do, why it is that we act the way that we do, all in efforts to heal mind, body, and soul. Chiron, of course, the wounded healer. We had that run-in earlier in the morning with Mars and with the moon, and then the moon against Mars, about the wounds that we've been running from, the wounds that we've been trying to distract ourselves from, the wounds that we refuse to grow from because it is part of our egoic pain identity. Well, this particular aspect, especially riding off of the previous aspects of the day, suggests that there is a aha moment, that there is a release, that there is a shift, not only in the heart space, but in the head space. Everything has to happen in the head space first. Psychologically speaking, unconsciously speaking, when we have an aha moment and we bring a part of our unconscious selves into awareness, that changes our perspective and our understanding. The minute that something happens in our mental plane, we drop it down into our heart space, and just like that, we shift an emotion. We rewire the emotion. We rewrite the emotion. And the minute that you can get the heart and the head on the same page, it activates our physical form in order to actually be prepared to take the actions that are needed in our physical realm to go ahead and make our physical realm start mirroring back the inner work that we've just accomplished.